The chances of being attacked by a shark can be estimated from the fact that with hundreds of thousands of skin divers prowling in the waters of the world almost every day, the number of shark attacks in the last 10 years can be counted on the fingers of both hands. That doesn't mean skin divers don't see a lot of sharks. In some areas, they're seen almost every diving day. But every shark you see will not attack, any more than every dog you see will bite. The trouble is, a diver doesn't know which shark he's watching.
Foolish mortal, you have inadvertently tuned into the forbidden frequency. It's Zombie Astronaut's Frequency of Fear.
What the heck is... You? I should have known.
Zombie, me lad. Fancy meeting you here.
I can't believe you shanghaied me. Again!
Whatever could you be talking about, Mr. Zombie Astronaut?
What do you mean, whatever am I talking about? You locked me in that closet, locker room, sort of thingy. What the heck is that anyway? Where am I?
Oh, Zombie, me lad. I'm sure you just tripped and fell in there.
You chloroformed me first.
Never. Why, it must have been,
Chloroform, maybe?
There are a lot of pollutants in the air, I suppose.
You mean on the dirty rag you had in your hand?
I would never.
After you punched me?
I would never.
12 times?
I would. Okay, so I would.
Captain Bonemarrow!
I couldn't keep denying it while keeping a straight face.
You one guy.
Welcome aboard, Mr. Astronaut.
Aboard what exactly?
It's a newfangled device called a submarine. It's like a sandwich, only you crawl into it to travel underwater. But don't eat it. I learned the hard way. See, I chipped a tooth.
Where are we going in it?
You may not believe this, but at the bottom of the sea, there's a...
You're right, I don't believe you.
Give a pirate a break, man.
Okay, fine.
At the bottom of the sea, there's a great big plug.
What, like a bathtub plug or something?
Yes, like a bathtub plug. Look, I'm glad you're keeping up, but if you interrupt me again, I'll chop off your head, okie dokie?
Okay, so now you're gonna tell me that if we pull the plug out, the whole ocean will drain out, right?
Right? That's the silliest thing I've ever heard. The whole ocean. like a big salty toilet bowl full of fish. No, me lad, it's a doorway to a magical underground ocean with sea unicorns and a great big sea monkey kingdom. Oh, and tons of treasure.
You still want to chop off my head? Because I'd be way cool with that right now.
Really? The unicorns and the sea monkeys. It's all true.
What I do believe is that I'm stuck in a submarine on the ocean floor. A submarine you tried to eat, I might add.
Only twice?
A submarine driven by a pirate. So drunk, he's hallucinating again.
That's not true. Well, it is actually, but the unicorns...
Captain Bonemarrow!
And the bloody sea monkeys!
Captain Bonemarrow! How long have you been drunk?
Let's see...
Captain Bonemarrow, your question was, how long have you been drunk?
About a month and a half.
A month and a half is correct! Captain Bonemarrow, you are a winner!
I won!
Ladies and gentlemen, Captain Bonemarrow! Captain Bonemarrow! Captain Bonemarrow!
I won!
You won what?
A year's supply of, sausage biscuits and tang?
You're hallucinating! You've been drinking for a month and a half! You've been drunk for so long, you're hallucinating! Ah, forget it, I'm going home.
Listen to me, Mr. Zombie. I don't go around shanghaiing people all willy-nilly. Have I ever shanghaied you to pick up a burger at a fast food restaurant?
Yes, 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
you locked me in the trunk of my own car to go get a burger and a minty bacon grease smoothie from Glutton Baby's Burger Barn.
Well, have I ever shanghaied you to, say, make a bank deposit.
3 weeks ago,
Ooh,
you stole my wallet and threw me in a burlap sack to go deposit my money in your account. I only had $2. It turned out you didn't have a bank account, so we deposited the $2 in my account. The transaction cost me $2.
Never mind my previous attempts to win your support. We're looking for this blasted treasure, and you're coming with me. It'll be fun.
You pirates drive me crazy.
Hold on to your space panties, dirty doubting dead man. Look out the window.
It's true. It's a big rubber bathtub stopper.
I'll just guide the remote system to the plug. Attach the hook. And now, Mr. Zombie, we're going to pull that plug out.
Is that safe?
Sure.
Are you lying to me again?
Sure. All right, Mr. Zombie, climb into a diving suit. We're going treasure hunting. I'll meet you in the airlock.
Yeah.
I know I'm forgetting something, but I can't put me finger on it. Nope. Got me belt on. Nope. Got me wallet. Nope. Got Mr. Zombie's wallet.
Diving suit's supposed to have a
Oh well, I'll figure it out eventually. Hurry up, Mr. Zombie.
I think I have this thing on backwards. This feels really unnatural.
Hello? Anybody? Hey, somebody! I'm trapped in a giant sandwich! Ow! A giant stale sandwich!
While Captain Bonemarrow and I delve the undersea sea for sea monkey treasure, why don't you listen to this bit of OTR? This podcast is diving horror themed, and our first nugget of diving horror features Santos Ortega in the Inner Sanctums. Death in the Depths.
Lipton Tea and Lipton Soup presents Inner Sanctum Mysteries. Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum. This is your host, Raymond, inviting you once again to join our scary company. Please come in, won't you? We have a full quiver of shivers this evening, and what? You say it's rather cold in here. Well, some of the chills of our story must have leaked out. Why don't you all huddle together? There's so much comfort in having someone else beside you instead of being beside yourself. Did you know that more than 2/3 of the Earth's entire surface is unknown? The salty wastes of the sea? Only a short distance under the surface, death lurks in 100 different shapes. And that's where we're going to take you tonight in Robert Newman's strange story of Death in the Depths. A wharf in a small seaside town a few minutes before midnight. Moored to the dock, just barely visible through the thick fog, is a stubby, broad-beamed ship. Suddenly, out of the swirling mist, a man and woman appear. He is tall, heavy-set, carries a sea bag over his shoulder. She's slim, attractive. They reach the end of the dock, and he stops. His face haggard.
I can't do it, Leila. I just can't. That's all there's to it.
Stop arguing and get on board there.
Well, I'm telling you I can't, Leila. I can't. Why even think about it? The way the water looks down under. The feel of it pressing against
And
you.
I'm telling you that you are going, whether you like it or not. 2 years of living in crummy second-rate rooming houses. That's plenty, see? Too much. You're going back to doing something that really pays off.
But, Leila,
I told you to shut up. Now stop squawking and let's go aboard.
Okay. Hi there, the Gasca Bay. Captain Brody around?
I'm Brody. Come aboard. Evening, Captain. My name's Farrow. This is my wife.
Hello.
I understand you're going off on a job and you're looking for divers.
Well, yes, I am. We've got a salvage job off the Keys. It's a tough one, 20 fathoms. We only use real deep water men. What did you say your name was again?
Farrow. Steve Farrow.
You mean Big Steve Farrell? Why don't you say so? Sure, I can use you. Wait right there. I'll go get the paper.
Okay, Captain.
Well, was that so tough?
Layla, for heaven's sakes, don't make me do it. You don't know what you're asking me to do it. It's like sending me... Layla. Did you hear that? 9 bells.
What of it?
What of it? There's no such thing as 9 bells. It's like a clock striking 13 o'clock. And it means death. The only other time I ever heard it was when Curly...
Listen, I'm getting sick of this, see? You don't want to do any more diving because you've lost your nerve. And because a bell rings 9 times instead of 8, you say it means something. Well, what do you think it would mean if I told the police a couple of things I know? I'll tell you. It would mean the chair. Now, how do you like that?
Layla, you don't know. You don't know.
Take care of yourself, Stevie boy. I'll be seeing you in a couple of weeks.
Feeling pretty good, aren't you? You think you're getting just what you want. Well, maybe you are. Because when I sign those papers, I won't be signing on as a diver. I'll be signing my own death certificate. I'm all set, Captain. Any instructions before they close me up?
Well, Steve, can't expect much on a first dive, but see if you can determine the extent of the damage. All we know about her now is that she's about 1,500 ton. Her name was the Santa Elena. She went down in a collision.
Right, Captain.
Okay, close them up. Start the pumps. Go away.
I'm scared. Scared. I swore I'd never go down again. But here I am. It's all just the way I remembered it. Nothing at first but the quiet. Just the pump, like the echo of your heart beating. And the light fading as you go down. Getting darker. And the cold. The pressure building up. Pressing harder and harder. Gripping you tighter and tighter as if you were being swallowed by something alive. Always down below where you can't see it. Something weighty. Something that... Stop it. Gotta stop it. There was a time when I really used to like diving. When did it all begin? This fear. Guess that night in the bar in Tampa. She told me she married Curly.
Well, this is certainly quite an evening you're giving me, Steve. It's more like a wake than a celebration. Why are you looking at me like that?
Wondering whether I should kill you. Whether I should talk to Curly and let him do it.
What do you mean?
You know what I mean. You know Curly. You ever found out how things were with you and me? Well, he's just young enough and crazy enough about you to put you away for keeps.
I can handle Curly with my little finger. Besides, you wouldn't do anything like that.
Wouldn't I? Why'd you meet me here tonight? You know it's because you wish you were married to me instead of him.
So what? What are you going to do about it? You know darn well he'll never let me go.
No. I guess he won't, but... We've got to do something.
Yeah, but what?
After all, he wakes for me. Diving's kind of dangerous. As a matter of fact, we're getting off on a job tomorrow that's pretty tricky.
Steve.
When you want something badly enough, there's always a way of getting it. Yeah, that was the beginning. That wasn't when I was afraid for the first time. That came later. 2 days later, out on the reefs. 2 days of being with Curly and talking to him. Knowing all the time what I was going to do. And that last dive, late in the afternoon. Standing on deck with Andy, the pump man, and watching Curly through the clear water. Watching her move across the deck of the Hulk. As cool as she was, and...
You going down too, Steve? Yeah, Andy. Maybe we can wind up today and start home tomorrow. Think you can handle both of us? Sure. Only watch the coral over on the port side there, sharp as a razor. Almost took Curly's boot off this morning. If you get into any trouble, well, I'm all alone up here. I'll watch you. Want to button me up? Yeah, sure.
Going down then. Just the way I'm going down now. I still wasn't afraid. Not yet. I was too busy figuring out just how I was going to do it. And landing on the bottom and starting to work my way toward the Hulk, over the coral. There was Curly's hose and safety line, lying on the coral, snaking its way to the Hulk where he was working. I didn't have to look up. I could tell by the shadow I was under the hull of our ship, so Andy couldn't see me. And I came to a place where Curly's line was lying right next to a coral spur. And I knew that was it. I bent down, looped it around the spur so Andy couldn't pull him up.
Hello, Curly. Curly, try your line. I think it's fouled.
And I did it. Took out my knife and cut Curly's air hose. Andy must have known it even before Curly did. As soon as a bubble started pouring out of the end of the hose.
Hello, Curly. Can you still hear me? I think you're in trouble. Your air line's cut. Hold it and save whatever air you got. Steve's on the bottom, too. He'll get over to you. Did you hear, Steve?
Yeah, I heard. I'm going as fast as I can.
Steve, you gotta hurry. Where are you?
I just hit the deck, but it's clouded up and I can't see anything. Where's Curly?
Up forward, near the ship's bell. Listen, he says he's going to ring it so you can follow the sound. And for heaven's sake, hurry.
Follow the sound. As if I didn't know where he was. Straight forward. I could see him now, his lifeline taut, so we couldn't move. Holding his air hose with one hand and ringing the bell with the other. He was swaying back and forth. And I started counting the strokes. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then he slid down onto the deck. The air bubbled out of his helmet, and I knew he was dead. I remember thinking, 9 bells. 1 bell after midnight. And suddenly it came over me that this was something I was never going to be able to forget. Never. That every time I went down, I was going to see him swaying there, hanging on to the bell, waiting for me. Waiting.
So that's why Steve Farrell wouldn't go back to his old profession of deep-sea diving. I should think it would lose some of its appeal if you expect to meet a dead man every time you go down. Now, shall I go on with the story of death in the depths of the sea? That strange underwater world where dead men ring their own death knell on the bells of sunken ship? Okay. Just a moment later now, and Steve Farrell is still standing on the deck of the sunken freighter, Santa Elena.
Hello, Steve. Steve, anything the matter?
Why, no, Captain. I'm sorry. I thought I heard something funny, and I guess I lost my nerve for a minute. After all, this is my first dive in quite a while, but I'm okay now.
You sure? We can haul you up, send Mike down.
No, I'm okay. I'm going to stay.
Well, all right, but don't forget we can't see you from up here. So keep talking all the time so we'll know exactly where you are and what you're doing.
Check. I'm up forward now on the port side of the deck. I'm just going inside. The companionway door is jammed shut, and I'm blinking on it. There she is. And now I'm inside in the car door. It's pretty dark, and I'm switching on my light. I can see now, a little way ahead of me at least. It's all kind of queer.
Where? How?
Just funny, strange. She's canted over on her starboard side, so the cart is tipped over at an angle. Sort of like a dream where everything's turned around. Kind of different and still familiar. Why does it seem so familiar? Seems to remind me of something else. That's it. The corridor of the hotel right after we were married. Walking down it with her, Leila. Out onto the terrace. The way she took the cigarette I gave her. Smiled at me. Very sure of herself.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks a lot.
Why the smile, baby?
Why shouldn't I smile? I'm young, healthy, and I'm married to a guy I like. A guy who's going to take real good care of me.
I sure am, baby. Not only that, from now on, things are going to be different. Didn't have a chance to tell you before, but I'm through with diving. For keeps.
What do you mean?
Just that. I sold a boat yesterday and all the equipment. I'm out of that racket for good.
You shouldn't have done that, Steve. Not without talking to me about it first. What do you expect to do from now on?
Oh, I'm all set on that. I got a job as a second engineer in a freighter, the Outdoors.
Well, I guess that'll be all right. For a while, anyway.
What do you mean, for a while? You think you're going to tell me what kind of work I should do and what kind I shouldn't do?
But of course, Steve. Like I said, I'm your wife. And besides, if I wanted to, I could tell either you or anyone else a lot of other things. Like why you decided to give up diving.
What are you talking about? Gave it up because I was sick of it.
Is that the reason? Or is it because you're afraid that if you did do any more diving, you might start seeing things?
Seeing what?
Well, after all, you were right there when Curly had his accident and got drowned. The funny thing is, you were talking about how he might have an accident just before you went off on that trip. I've been thinking I really ought to talk to Andy about it since he was there, too, and find out just how it happened.
Andy's not around anymore. He left town right after I paid him off.
Oh, I see. Well, remember that the police could probably find him, Steve, if they should ever want to ask him any questions.
Steve, what's the matter? Why don't you answer? Where are you?
What? I'm sorry, Captain. Nothing's the matter. I guess I was just thinking about something else, and I'm at the end of the corridor now. Just opening the door to the engine room. I'm going across the gratings now and down the stairs. Funny. Something kind of familiar about all this. Pattern on the grills. Picture the stairs. Hey, Captain. What did you say the name of this tub was?
Santa Elena. Panamanian Registry, I think. Why?
She kind of reminded me of another ship, the Arcturus. The Arcturus? What made me think of her? I know why. Year and a half in which I almost forgot about Curly. What had happened down there on the deck of the schooner. Year and a half in which I was almost happy, even with Leila. And that night, the night McHenry came up to me while I was on watch in the engine room.
Hi, Steve. How are they going? Swell, Chief. I just cut number 2 in again, and she's purring like a kitten.
Good. Look, Steve, the old man claims he's a little bit heavy. Wants us to sound out the pumps and check the bilge. I told him he was crazy, but, well, maybe we'd better.
Okay, Chief, I'll get on it right away.
Anyone around to give you a hand?
I don't really need any help. But if I want him, Swanson's I have someplace.
Well, report to me soon as you're finished.
Hi, Chief. Oh, there you are, Swanson. Hey, where you going? Come back.
Let's go.
Hey, wait. Wait a minute. You're not Swanson. Who are you?
Hey, I'm nobody, Chief.
Stowaway, huh? Hiding down here behind the boiler.
Give me a break, will you, Chief? I ain't doing nobody any harm. Where I'll be. Steve, big Steve Farrell.
Andy. Andy Andrews.
And I wanted a break.
This is terrific, Steve. Like money in the bank.
What happened to you anyway?
Oh, usual thing. Run of tough luck. Been out of work for about a year now. Look, Steve, I'm pretty hungry. I ain't had nothing to eat since we left port.
I guess I could pick up some stuff from the galley for you. But we'll have to be careful. Be the devil to pay if they found out I was hiding you.
Good old Steve. I know you wouldn't let an old shipmate down. And, Steve, while we're at it, I could use a little cash, too.
Yeah, I figured that. Well, when we get to port, I guess I could let you have 10 or 20.
That's not enough. I was figuring on, like, 500 for a starter.
500? Are you nuts?
I don't think so, Steve. You see, after Curly had his little accident and you sold the boat and all the equipment, I figured you'd given up diving because you were kind of upset about it. Then I heard you'd married his widow, that Leela dame. I started thinking back. I remembered how Curly's air hose looked after we pulled him up. The place where it was cut wasn't rough, like it had been done by Coral. It was clean, like it had been done with a knife.
You. So that's it. Blackmail.
Oh, why do you have to use words like that, Steve?
Okay, Andy. It's going to be a little tough to get, but... Wait a minute.
What is it?
Someone's coming. One of the wipers. We got to find some place for you to hide. I know. Down there in the bilge. Here, climb in. Right down through that.
No, but it's almost full of water.
There's plenty of room, and you'll be safe there. Really safe.
Oh, okay, but you better not... Oh, what are you doing? Let go of me! Let go! Help! Help!
You'll be safe here, all right. I'll see to that. Stop struggling like that, Andy. It's not going to do you any good. And I'm in too deep already to let you go wandering around with what you know. And, weeks before they find you down here in the bilges. Maybe they never will. And if they do, they'll figure you tried to hide down there and got drowned all by yourself.
Hello, Steve. Steve, will you talk up and stop mumbling? Where are you now?
Down at the bottom of the ladder in the engine room. This light's not too good. The boarders are right in front of me. It seems to be some kind of a brass plate on the floor here. Captain! This isn't the Santa Elena. It's the Arcturus.
What are you talking about?
It is. Don't you understand it? It's the ship where I killed him. And he must still be down here. Down the bilges. Get me out of here. Pull me up.
Okay, Steve, now take it easy. We'll get you up. Start hauling him up. Mike, you better go down there fast, see what the trouble is.
Hurry up, for heaven's sake. I think I see something moving back there, behind the boilers. Hey, Brody. The bell. Ringing like it did when Curly. That means that he's here, too. They're both here. Can't you get me out?
We're trying, but something's wrong with your line. Seems to be fouled. Now, look, Steve. Try to get out yourself. Start working your way back along your line.
No good, Steve. You know that, don't you? You're here to stay.
Andy. It is you.
Sure, Steve. And I got a friend with me. A friend of yours, too. He's standing right next to you.
Andy.
We waited a long time, Steve. But now you're here with us. And now you're going to know exactly what it was like with both of us. You're going to know what it's like to drown.
Steve, why don't you answer? What's the matter? Steve, your lifeline and air hose, I think they're gone.
Andy, Curly, no. Let me go.
Too late, Steve. This is it. This is the way it was with us. Trying to fight it first, holding your breath. Then, when you can't fight it any longer, letting go. The water rushing into your mouth, nose. You choke at first, try to fight some more. Then everything starts to go black, and you relax. There are lights moving in the darkness, and suddenly you feel very peaceful and very free. Peaceful and very free.
Did you find him, Mike?
Yeah, he was right where you said. Down in the engine room. They're hauling him up now.
It's going to be tough breaking the news to his wife. How did it happen?
There's a heavy iron door leading into the engine room. It swung shut, cut his lifeline and air hose.
You were saying an awful lot of stuff that didn't make sense, but there was something about a bell.
Well, his lifeline was looped around the bell on the foredeck. Must have gotten caught when you tried to pull him up. And that may have rung the bell a few times. There was something else, though. You remember you said he kept asking if the ship's name was really the Santa Helena?
Yeah?
Well, there was a brass plate in the engine room with her original name on it. And it was the Arcturus. They must have changed it when they re-registered her.
That is funny. There's one thing that's even funnier. Of course, the whole thing was an accident, but I wonder what made that door close.
Oh, you do, huh? Even with two able-bodied ghosts about? But that's the way we like to leave you, with a couple of things to keep you wondering. And when we do, then we've known we've really rung the bell. The, funeral bell.
Greetings, this is Talliazing TTLG, invading the frequency of fear to talk diving. Hold on. Diving. We're talking vampires, we're talking running water, being an apotropaic, Greek cemetery sometimes island-based to prevent the dead from returning, harassing the living. Well, vampires and water have never traditionally gotten on, and by this I don't just mean holy water. Sheridan Le Fanu had disposal of a vampire's ashes in running water as part of the vampire disposal technique, and running water had an even more profound effect in Dracula, but perhaps Stoker should explain, as he wrote, "It is said too that he could only pass running water at the slack or flood of the tide." Hammer took this a stage further in Dracula AD 1972 when they had newly turned Johnny Alucard killed by a shower, although he was also in sunlight, but the effect of the water was confirmed in the next Hammer Dracula movie, Satanic Rites of Dracula, when a group of vampiric brides were killed by water sprinklers. This was, perhaps, going a tad too far. After all, Stoker's rule had as much to do with the ebb and flow, marking a shift between two worlds, as anything else. But the tradition seemed to hold, all the way through to the Computer King's Blood Rain, where any water would burn at the half-vampire or Dampier rain. At this point, you'd be forgiven for thinking that you'd never get diving vampires, but one thing I love about the vampire genre is that the rules are never absolute, and for every rule, there is a counter-rule. Back in 1972, at the same time that Hammer were killing Johnny Alucard with indoor plumbing, in the film The Blood-Spattered Bride, it seemed that we had a diving vampire, when a woman is found buried in sand on the beach, wearing a diving mask, a snorkel, and nothing else. She is the vampire of our tale, named Carmilla, though there is no evidence that she had actually been in the water. A close call, so let us look at the mostly unnecessary Lost Boys the Tribe. The vampires in this aren't affected adversely by water, as they are all surfer vampires, liking nothing more than catching a few midnight waves. And of course surfing is on the surface, and diving is, well, below. Let me introduce you to Children of the Night, a little-known vampire flick from 1991. Little did a couple of teen girls know that their little swim in the flooded crypt of an abandoned church would lead to disaster. Okay, combine abandoned church, flooded crypt, and swim, and you have a recipe for disaster. But nevertheless, the crypt was the resting place of master vampire Zezakia, who is awoken when one of the girls breaks the chain and her crucifix hits him in his watery grave. And those who he turns into vampires spend daylight asleep, either cocooning themselves in an excreted material or immersed in water, for example in a full bath. In both situations they have their lungs out of their bodies, breathing, though how they can breathe underwater in a cocoon fluid is not explained. This is also inconsistent with a comment later by a vampire who explains that she tried a cigarette and it was pointless as her lungs no longer work. Nevertheless, this is, I guess, the closest I can get to a diving vampire. To get more information on these and many more vampire movies and books, visit Talliazing Meets the Vampires at talliazingttlg.blogspot.com. Alternatively, find the link in the links of the Zombie Astronaut.
Hello? Anybody? It's a good thing I had all these Wonder Bread and mayonnaise sandwiches on my person. Tasty mayonnaise sandwiches. Oh, God. I can feel my arteries harden. Delicious.
Wow, the undersea sea is amazing. Look at the size of those jellyfish. Just watch out for the peanut butter fish. You're serious. Deadly fish, the peanut butter fish. They excel in hand-to-hand combat like no other fish in the undersea sea. There are fish down here that defy description. Like that one. What are you, Jacques Cousteau? We're here for treasure, not Discovery Channel commentary. Oh. Did you say something? No, just watering the flowers, so to speak. Oh, I didn't know these suits had a waste filtration system built in. What? Oh, no, Mr. Zombie, no waste filtration systems. The urine just keeps me warm. That's beyond socially unacceptable. Also, this gives me a chance to absorb all the alcohol in me urine through my skin again. Think of it as recycling a great party from the night before. I'm going to avoid thinking about it altogether, actually. Oh, wow. What is that cave? Cave? Over there, with the huge piles of bones surrounding it. Nothing. Nothing whatsoever. Certainly nothing extremely deadly. Just stay away from it, okay? Besides, we have other problems. Look. A giant pirate and corpse-eating shark. A giant pirate and corpse-eating shark? Sure, didn't you see that episode of Wild Kingdom? That's all it eats all day. Just pirates and corpses all day. Just pirates and corpses. What do we do? There's only one thing to do. Climb onto the sea unicorn. We're going to jump the shark. I think we may have already.
Okay, so you can't open a steel door with antidepressants. What else do I have in my pockets? Oh, what luck! A sound effect CD. Let's see. No, that's not it. No. Ah, wait, here it is. Aha! I knew that would work. Now to figure out where I am. Whoops! Oh, it appears I've tripped and fallen into a suit of some kind.
Ow! Oh, it appears a helmet has fallen onto my head. Let's see. It's stuck. I can't seem to get it off my... Whoa! I've accidentally opened... Whoa! What is this, a torpedo bay? Look, Mr. Zombie, we're coming up on the sea ruins of the Sea Monkey Kingdom. So what happened to the Sea Monkey Kingdom? They ran out of sea monkey growth food. That's it? You can lead a sea monkey to water, but you can't teach it to manufacture sea monkey growth food. Now there are only the ruins and a few sea monkey stragglers left down here in the undersea sea. We'll swim in through here. And there it is, the sea monkey treasure. What? What the... It's all comic book mail-order crap. All the x-ray glasses, fake blood and fart powder a man could hope for. Fake facial hair, onion gum, books on hypnotization. Phony arm casts? I've dreamt about cluttering up me pirate ship with useless crap like this since I was a wee pirate. Box of Major Mars rocket rings, toy soldiers. What was that? What was what? Can't you see I'm busy sticking fake facial hair to my diving helmet? Oh, me artificial sweeteners. What? What's going on? Captain Bonemarrow, what's going on? We're being surrounded by feral sea monkeys. This isn't how they looked on the package. No. While we try to figure out how to get out of this mess, why don't you listen to our next diving horror selection? This comes from the Power Records attempt to cash in on the Jaws craze called Jaws of the Shark. This is the last track, Treasure of the Sharks. What? Oh man, are they throwing the... Don't tell me they're throwing their... Yes, Mr. Zombie. They're throwing their soggy hostess fruit pies at us.
Treasure of the Sharks.
Dear Pete, this was going to be a fun letter, but as you will see, it's just the opposite. We are anchored a few miles off the Bahamas in the Caribbean, where the water is warm and so clear you can see for hundreds of feet. Jen and I have been learning to scuba dive, and we're pretty good. Grandpa has taught us to always dive in pairs, and you can bet we keep an eye out for sharks. Well, we met this local diver, Thomas, who showed us how he went spearfishing without flippers or tanks or anything. He could hold his breath for 4 minutes. We really liked him, and I guess he liked Jennifer and me too, or what happened wouldn't have.
How about coming aboard, kids? Aren't your aqualungs out of breath yet?
Thomas is still at the bottom. How does he do it?
He says he's part fish.
Hey, Thomas, what'd you catch?
Fish for your dinner.
It seems a shame. He's so beautiful.
That is the rule of the sea. Big fish eat little fish. My brother Joseph calls me back to work. He is the businessman in our family. Look how our little fishing boat rocks with impatience in the water. But tomorrow a surprise. With your permission, Dr. Popkin.
Well, you know how scientists feel about surprises.
I know you love discoveries. I invite you to join me in a search for sunken treasure.
Say yes, Grandpa.
I thought every sunken Spanish galleon had been emptied for 1,000 miles around here.
That's not a very scientific statement, GP.
No diver in the Bahamas will go near this wreck. It is said to be guarded by phantom killer shark. But I am a doubting Thomas. Tomorrow morning, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, we'll follow you there. Phantom shark, eh?
Thomas climbed into his dory and rowed back to his fishing boat. Jen and I climbed aboard. We were so excited we couldn't stand still. How could we know what was going to happen?
On deck, sleepyheads. Here comes the sun. And I hear Thomas's boat chugging in the distance. I thought you were too excited to sleep.
I was counting gold doubloons.
I was trying on jewelry.
Ahoy, Dr. Popkin.
We're ready, Joseph.
No need, Dr. Popkin. My brother is dead.
Oh, no.
I wanted you to know I'm taking his body home. The phantom shark is not a phantom.
Wait, Joseph. May I see him?
Joseph pulled his boat alongside ours, and Grandpa leaped onto his deck. Joseph lifted a tarpaulin. Jen and I couldn't see anything, and I wasn't sorry. Jen was crying.
Joseph, these are most peculiar shark wounds.
From a most ferocious shark, Dr. Popkin. My brother was a big child, sir. He left in a dory yesterday afternoon to visit the sunken ship. He wanted to place some treasures aboard so that the children would have something to discover, should there be nothing else aboard. I found his body in the coral reef this morning.
Joseph, will you lead me to the site?
Yes, it is on the way to shore. I will bring back many boats. We will kill the shark.
Grandpa started the engines on the Sea Lab, and we followed the little fishing boat. Nobody said a word. Grandpa seemed to be deep in thought. After a while, we saw an empty dory, and just past that, Joseph started to circle, pointing. Deep, deep down, we could see a dark shape, the sunken wreck.
There goes Joseph. He can't bear to be here. He didn't even pick up the dory. Let's take a look at it.
A little closer. I've got it hooked. Look, Jen. Look what's in it.
The kind of souvenir treasures they sell on the islands. Poor Thomas. He loved a joke.
You mean Thomas got killed for nothing? That he knew there was no treasure down there?
The treasure wasn't that important. The thrill of the search was what counted, and giving you that thrill. There, my wetsuit is on. Hand me those packets, please, John.
This is shark repellent, isn't it, Grandpa?
Yes, but I'm sure Thomas wasn't killed by a shark.
Then what happened? What do you mean?
Well, I'll explain later, after I look around. Now, you two keep a sharp eye for boats. If you see any, drop this yellow dye in the water. Got it?
Grandpa reached for a spear gun. I handed it to him. It felt awfully heavy. Then he went over the side. We could see him swimming toward the wreck.
John, this is scary. I don't think GP should be down there alone. He taught us to dive in pairs, didn't he? I'm going to get into my gear and follow him.
No, Jen, stay here. I think we should be ready to dive if he needs help. But we can see more from up here. Do you see any boats on the horizon? Suddenly, a seaplane was over us. It was the last thing in the world we expected. Everything seemed to go in slow motion. I looked up and right into a pair of evil black eyes. He must have been 100 feet over us, but it felt like his eyes were right in front of me. I felt frozen on the spot.
They're shooting at us! Dive, Jen!
We hit the water together. We could hear funny clumping sounds. They were still shooting at us. We went deep, and Jen released the yellow dye Grandpa gave her. I guess they couldn't see us from the plane because the shooting stopped. Then Grandpa came swimming toward us below the yellow dye. I tried to tell him what was happening by using sign language. It was like playing charades. I spread my arms like wings. I pointed my finger and made shooting movements. Suddenly Grandpa understood me, and he signaled us to follow him. We swam toward the sunken wreck. We reached the wreck, and he motioned us to hold on to the planking of the hull. The old wooden sailing ship, lying on its side, was half buried in the sand. What fun it would have been to explore it with Thomas. It would have seemed like a real adventure. Suddenly, I realized that we were having a really real adventure right now that I couldn't understand at all. What was happening? What would we do next? I didn't have to wonder long. Two divers in black shiny wetsuits were swimming toward us, fast. Grandpa signaled us to get behind the hull, but I didn't move fast enough. One diver pointed a spear gun at us. Grandpa grabbed me, and the spear smashed into the planking over my head. The other man carried a long knife. They closed in on us now, like sharks. I couldn't believe how scared I felt. My arms and legs felt paralyzed. Suddenly, thick, inky cloud was spreading in front of me, blocking the divers from view, and I felt Grandpa tugging at my arm, pulling me upward toward the surface. He had released his packet of shark repellent. The three of us popped to the surface, and I couldn't wait to push back my mask. Grandpa, who are they, and what do they want?
They're Thomas's killers.
Why? Why did they kill him?
For the same reason they want to kill us. They're guarding a secret in that old wreck. You two swim for the boat. They'll be coming through that repellent any second now, and I'll try to hold them off with my spear gun.
Our boat seemed a long way off. The seaplane was floating not far from it. I squinted my eyes. Something was moving along the surface of the water, between the boat and the plane, coming toward us. Jen saw it, too.
GP! A fin! A big one!
We can't get back to the boat now.
Swim away from me. I can see the men now, and they see us. I never expected to test this spear gun like this.
But I couldn't swim. Everything was so still. It didn't seem real. All I could hear were some seagulls overhead as I silently watched the men approaching underwater and the huge fin behind them moving with unbelievable speed. Then the fin went down, and through the thinning cloud of repellent, a huge shape came up behind the man with the knife. The horrible mouth grabbed him at the waist and shook him like a toy. It couldn't be real. Not a sound could be heard down there while the shark cut a man right in half. The other man whirled to aim his spear gun. The shark's tail caught him right in the face and sent him spinning to the surface. I felt sick.
I told you kids to swim. Whatever happens to me, swim.
Grandpa dove and aimed his spear gun. The funny-shaped dart went straight into the giant shark, and a bright flash circled him, and he seemed to stiffen. Then he sort of rolled over. It just seemed too easy. Grandpa came up grinning.
That was an experimental electric dart, and wait till I send in my report on that.
Is the shark dead?
Well, he's at least unconscious, and that's good enough. Joseph and his friends will have no trouble rounding up all these phantom sharks, or whatever's left of them. Now, will you swim back to the boat as your captain has ordered you several times?
Not until we hear the secret they were guarding.
They were dope smugglers. This old wreck was their secret warehouse guarded by the story of the phantom shark. The hull is filled with waterproof sacks of narcotics. Now, will you?
It was exciting, Pete, but very sad. Hope you're getting better every day. Your pal John. P.S. Jennifer sends her love.
I do not. Tell him I send my best regards.
Now that. What weird fishies! Look at those crazy jellyfish. Oh yeah, funky jellyfish, alright. Do I smell peanut butter and fish? How am I smelling things with this helmet on? That's crazy. Ah! Oh, punchy fishes. Captain Bonemarrow, what do we do?
Huh? What? Oh, sorry, Mr. Zombie, I passed out for a few.
What?
I have been drinking for a month and a half. It was bound to happen.
Got to think. Knock, knock. Banana. Knock, knock. Banana. Knock, knock. Orange. Aren't you glad I didn't say banana? That just made them angry.
Of course it did. It made me angry, too. It's a stupid joke.
Ow!
Now think of something else.
Two monkeys walked into a bar. Ow!
Not another joke, you rotting imbecile.
Get back, grumpy sea monkeys. Taste my peanut butter fish. Dr. Von Martinez?
That's what I forgot. I forgot I shanghaied you, too.
Sea monkeys are running away. Nobody likes the peanut butter fish. Not even me.
How did you manage to capture the dreaded peanut butter fish?
I just grabbed one of these really big jellyfish. They seem to go very well together. See? What are they doing? Oh, that's disgusting. There are some acts in the animal kingdom I wasn't meant to witness.
I wonder if I can find a DVD of that.
Captain Bonemarrow.
What? I have needs.
I don't want to hear about your disgusting needs. Just get your useless treasure and let's leave. Is it much further to the great big plug yet?
Not far now.
Captain Bonemarrow, is it much further to the great big plug yet?
Not far now.
Is it much further to the great big plug yet?
Yes, it smurfing well is, you annoying bastards.
Do you hear that?
Oh, dear.
Say, what's with that big pile of bones in front of that cave?
Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear.
Captain Bonemarrow, what is in that cave? What's that music all about? Is that John Tesh?
It's...
Yes?
It's...
Yes?
Would you give me a second, you two yakety saxes? It's the dreaded sea honky. The sea honky is the whitest creature on Earth. A creature completely devoid of any trace of ethnicity. A sea creature who listens to Mannheim Steamroller all year round and watches Matlock reruns. A sea creature so white it can suck the soul out of any living creature, leaving it an empty husk, cursed to eat Applebee's leftovers for the rest of its unnatural and very short life.
I kinda like Applebee's.
We need to get to the plug before... Run!
You know you can't run underwater.
Blast it all! Who invented physics anyway? If we don't get out of here, we'll all be listening to light jazz.
Oh my goodness. It's wearing khakis from Old Navy and loafers with no socks. Funky loafers.
Shut up.
That music. It's unbearably white. I'm blacking out.
I'm losing consciousness as well.
If you guys are going to take a nap, I am too. Funky napping. All right.
Oh, where am I? We're in a prison cell in the cave of the sea honky. He's draining our souls as we speak. We're doomed.
fellow astronauts. We're in a heap of trouble this time. So while we contemplate a short future of watching 60 Minutes and doing an inventory of our Limoges collections, why don't you listen to this? For those with a really good ear, you might have recognized Lloyd Bridges doing the intro to the podcast. A little advice to those of us who wanted to take up diving. Well, in this suspense episode, Mr. Bridges is finding diving to be a less and less attractive option. Listen now to Suspense. Deep, deep is my love.
Oh, Lord. I'm suddenly feeling a mild appreciation for REO Speedwagon.
Deep, deep is my love. Starring Mr. Lloyd Bridges. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
A man's got a right to be alone once in a while. It isn't too much to ask. A couple of hours of solitude and the weekends poking around the sea bottom with an air tank on your back. Joyce had me the rest of the time, waking and sleeping. Well, that was all right. She was a good kid, and I loved her. But I had made one bad mistake. I taught her to skin dive. Now she even wanted to be with me underwater.
Darling?
Yes, dear.
Why not? Why can't I dive with you?
What could I tell her? That today I had to dive alone? Return alone to the deep to see if I'd gone insane? To see if the beauty below was real or as false as the colors of a kelp fish? To see if the girl was real? No, of course she wasn't. And yet, I had to go. And alone. I had to be sure. It's, there are dangerous currents out there.
I'm as good a skin diver as you. You said so yourself, and George is bringing some gear for me. He promised.
No, Joyce. Hand me my fins, will you?
Here. If it's too dangerous, I don't want you out there. George said you went too deep last week anyway.
He went just as deep as I did.
Looking for you. He said he got a touch of narcosis.
Narcosis. Raptures of the deep. Too much nitrogen in the blood at too great a depth. Any diver, even a pro, could get it below 100 feet. They say it's a kind of ecstasy. But it could be a deadly ecstasy, luring you downward and downward, spiraling through the swaying greens, through the sapphire blues to the depths where all was black and white, and motionless as death. Had George had it? Had I had it? Was it this that tempted me deeper and deeper? Or was it simple escape? To a world where a man is as truly alone as the crayfish under his rock, or the moray eel in his grotto.
What's wrong with you, Don? You've been acting funny all week. Did you have narcosis? Was George right?
No, of course not. And I'm going to tell him to stop tailing me around like an anxious porpoise. I've been diving just as long as he has.
Good. Maybe he'll quit and you'll dive with me again. You play tennis with me. You never go skiing without me. We're together every second you're not at work, so why can't we... Well, I want to know. We do everything together, and now you
Maybe that's the trouble.
What do you mean?
Hi, kids.
Skipper, here he is.
Oh.
Hi, Joyce.
Hi, George.
I'm sorry, I had to fill the tanks.
It's okay.
Brought an extra tank, some gear for you, Joyce.
She isn't coming, George.
Oh? Well, whatever you say, but we could keep it shallow. A lot more lobsters at 30 feet than 200.
She's not coming, George.
Meet King Neptune. That's his world, and he doesn't want any women in it.
You know, Joyce, he was out of my sight in that grotto for 15 minutes last week. Maybe he's got a mermaid down there.
I was after a lobster.
What, at 200? Hey, no kidding, buddy. I'm not following you down there again. Those old nitrogen bubbles started playing tag in my brain. I could hear the angels singing loud and clear. I just about fell in love with a sand shark.
What do you mean?
I had it, man. Nitrogen narcosis. It's cheap drunk with no hangover unless you go all the way, and then it's so permanent. Oh, sir, it's not for me.
There's plenty of warning.
Yeah, sure, but it's such a lovely warning. Real pleasant. Your arms turn numb, you couldn't care less. You maybe hear voices, and you couldn't care less. And the deeper you go, the deeper you want to go, and you couldn't care less. No, sir, make mine martinis. You might drive off a cliff going home, but at least it's quick. So let's keep it a little shallower today, huh? You tell him, Joyce.
I don't care if he finds a tunnel to China. I'm going to look for seashells, if that's all right, Don. I won't get my feet wet.
I watched her start down the beach, head up to hide her disappointment. Lovely brown body swaying as she picked her way through the rocks. I almost called her back. She liked diving. It really wasn't fair to cut her out. But something stopped me. Something calling to me from beyond the rolling surf. Hey, you ready, George?
Yeah, just about. I think you had it too, Don.
What?
Narcosis. When I finally got the guts to go hunting for you, remember where I found you? In the mouth of that cave with a silly look on your face. When I tried to get you to go, you looked like you were going to go for me.
Well, I was, looking for something. You ready now?
Don!
Oh, for crying out loud.
What?
Don't go deep!
Oh, I'm telling you, if it isn't you, it's her.
Okay, Joyce.
All right, let's go, huh? The water was warm. In snorkeling on the surface, I could see that it was clear as air below. Clear and green, with the giant kelp swaying, beckoning me down. But I pushed ahead to the hole off Point Dume, a bottomless deep astride the great circle course the gray whales take from Galita Point to the breeding grounds in Magdalena Bay. I had seen whales here, startling as moving reefs, suspended between surface and bottom, driven southward, always southward, driven by the urge to mate. I had seen black sea bass flashing downward at the sound of a boat, and great bat rays gliding deeper than I could follow. And here I had once speared a 30-pound sheep's head. I had nightmares for weeks and remorse, because he was harmless and friendly, and I'd killed him on impulse to bring him back to Joyce. He'd sounded for the deep when I hit him, trying to lose me and retreat to some dark hole to nurse his wound, as all creatures will. But the spearhead held, and I'd taken all the depth that he could find. Now he hung as a reminder in my garage. I hadn't speared a fish since. I hated lately even to drag the big bull lobsters from their holes. It was so much better just to drift along the bottom and look and wonder.
Hey, Tom. How far are we going?
I pretended that I hadn't heard. To drift and wonder. To drift and wonder in a world of silent creatures who ignored a man as long as he made no hostile move, as long as he left them to their holes. Now, this was a world where a man could hide through supermarkets and freeways and movies and...
Hey, Don. Won't this do?
We were over the deep area now. I adjusted my face mask, put my mouthpiece in my mouth, and blew out what water was in my hose. And then I tested the free flow of air from my tank. And dove. I was back in my underwater world again. The water caressed me as I dove down 30, 40, 50 feet, heading for a spire of rock, to a castle guarding the edge of the underwater canyon of Point Dume. The water turned slowly to light blue, and the cares of the week slipped from my back. I told myself to be content with this. The other thing down there was fantasy. At the spire, I stopped to tickle a starfish, stared into the pink eyes of a golden Garibaldi until he flicked his tail at me and swam away. Joined a school of perch as they started their flight over the canyon. Then I saw it. Just like last week. I told myself that it must be a leaf of kelp far below or some golden-sided fish. But no. I caught the flash of a slim body again, girl-like, turning below, beckoning me down. Another skin diver? No, it was the girl. The girl who had danced in my mind all through the week. I shivered. There were no voices beneath the sea, not even from other divers. But we had talked before, for minutes, hours, an eternity. And she remembered my name. I shivered, fighting the urge to dive deeper.
Come with me.
No, I better not.
Come with me.
And the voice was gone. She was gone. I had to know. I dove into the canyon, searching for the flash of gold, catching it, losing it, while my arms turned to wings and my body to water, and everything was glorious, shimmering blue. If I could only find her, catch her, the golden girl that I remembered with the lonely, laughing eyes. Wait for me. Wait.
I glided around the giant boulders, midnight blue at 200 feet. Soared through a lighter blue spotlight of sun filtering through the branches of a giant kelp above. I had somewhere lost her, the golden girl, but I knew that I'd find her again, that she was only teasing. Until I did, it was ecstasy to move suspended in the liquid void, watching my air bubbles form a pearly necklace past my face mask. A moray eel, rattlesnake of the deep, flashed by and I waved to him. It didn't seem odd anymore, words underwater, and I could speak too. Where are you?
Hiding. What are you laughing at?
I don't know. I just feel like laughing. Where are you?
Can't you see me?
All at once, rounding a reef, I did see her. She was sitting in a shaft of blue sunlight, and all around her towered the age-old rocks of the Dumé Deep. Her body was as golden as I had remembered. Her face half familiar, her eyes laughing, and lonely. This was no thing of the deep, no mermaid of legend. This was a woman, all mankind's woman, and in her eyes was understanding of all men. And I loved her, and feared her at the same time. Who are you? Why do you stay down here?
I told you, because I like it.
Well, aren't you lonely?
I like being alone.
Yes, I do too sometimes. But it seems like I never am anymore.
I know.
How do you know?
I know all about you.
Hey, you don't have a mask. How do you breathe?
I'm used to it.
Where do you stay?
Don't you remember?
Faintly, I remembered a cave in the depths. A dark, warm place of song and peace. Yes, I think I do.
Do you want to go there?
No, I better not.
We'll be alone there.
But I've been down so long, my tanks...
We'll be alone there.
George will be worried.
We'll be alone.
And my wife.
We'll be alone.
Then she was swimming lazily through the boulders, and I was following her to a dimly remembered grotto. At last, we were close together in the dim, watery cave.
You're alone now, Don. You're alone.
I wanted suddenly to kiss her. I fumbled with my mask.
If you take off your mask, you won't be able to see. You might drown.
Come here.
Wait. There's somebody there.
What?
I can hear somebody outside. We aren't alone.
I peered from the grotto and saw George groping through the shadows, searching. It's my buddy. Well, he's looking for me. I don't know. What can I do? He found me here once before.
You have the right to be alone.
I know, but what can I do?
If he comes closer, you're as strong as he is. Stronger.
You mean?
You know what I mean.
I crouched in the cave, coiled like a moray eel, ready to strike if he peered in, blocking my light, and I tensed. He's gone. Come here. Come to me. She slid into my arms, pliant as kelp, light as water itself.
Aren't you afraid? You've been down so long.
No, I don't care.
Wait. What's that?
If he's back, I'll kill him.
No, it isn't he.
Well, who is it?
It's your wife.
My what? How could she be down here?
They're looking for you. You've been down so long.
What'll I do?
Do you want to go with her?
No. I want her to let me alone. Just for a little while.
She won't. She's even followed you here.
Oh.
She'll never let you be alone.
What'll I do?
You know what to do.
But I love her, you know.
A man has a right to be alone. I'd let you alone.
I backed into the cave and waited. A form moved by the entrance to the grotto, and I saw in the gloom my wife's face, frowning behind a mask, peering and worried. Oh, why can't she let me alone?
She never lets you be alone.
All right then. Will you let me alone? Let me alone! What are you laughing about?
Now she'll let you alone. Now she will.
What'd I do?
Don't you know?
Who is it?
Don't you know it's Joyce?
But she's dead.
Yes, she's dead, Don. She wouldn't let you alone, and she followed you here, and you killed her.
No.
It's all right. Nobody knows but me. Come on, Don. Come with me.
No.
Leave her. She's dead. Come on, Don. Follow me.
High above was the blessed blue light of the sky. It was an effort to breathe now, and up there was air and life. Here was death, still death.
Hurry, Don.
Joyce lay near the mouth of the cave with her ripped air hose trickling useless bubbles, and on her face was the look of one asleep in peace. Seeing her there, the narcosis, the crazy rapture passed, and I knew that I must stay with her under the surging tides.
Come on, Don. Come with me.
No.
Don, come with me. Come with me.
I cradled my wife in my arms, and that is how it has been for minutes, for hours, for an eternity. And Benita stared at us for a moment, and left. And a school of perch. So I will never be alone. Joyce will be with me always. I will never be alone.
Feeling hungry. It's a good thing I always keep Wonder Bread and mayonnaise sandwiches on me at all times.
What's happening?
There's not a whiter food than mayonnaise sandwiches. It's the sea hunky's only weakness. He's opened the cells.
He's after the mayonnaise sandwiches. We're free.
We'd never make it out to the cave. We still need a plan for escape.
Oh, look at him eat those mayonnaise sandwiches. It's kind of disgusting. Do you need a napkin? Just asking.
How do you kill the sea honky?
I don't know. I've never known anyone to survive a sea honky attack.
There's only one way to stop a sea honky. Hit it, me! White bread salty, piece of chalk. Just because you're a hunky don't mean you can't rock. Laying down some funk might make you cross, but later I think I'll watch Who's the Boss. Sea hunky's whiteness is hurting my eyes. Suddenly I'm hungry for a burger and fries. Making up words is really hard. Honky. Do the funky honky. See honky with the loafers now. Funker. Do the funky honky. Say what? Honky. Do the funky honky. See honky eating sandwiches. Funky. Do the funky honky. Say what?
Look, the sea honky is doing the cabbage patch.
Let's escape while it's distracted.
Man, am I funky.
It's time to be funky somewhere else, you idiot.
Now he's doing the running man.
Come on.
Swim faster, landlubbers. Swim faster. I'm a freaking zombie. Swimming pretty darn fast for a zombie. Swimming all funky like. Oh, yeah. Shut up. Oh, it's the sea monkeys. They're after my treasure. The sea monkey is coming. Well, funk at it or something. But I'm all out of the funk. Captain Bonemarrow, the only way we can escape is if you leave that treasure. Never. Someone threw a hostess fruit pie at me. Drop the treasure. Again. Drop it. Mr. Von Martinez, try to be funky. Please. Okay, I'll try.
funky Christmas! Oh, I just had an accident in my suit. Warm, isn't it? Bonemarrow, drop the treasure. Hurry! The sea honky is almost on us. This isn't fair. Hurry, man, hurry! I'm suddenly feeling the need to listen to a Peter Cetera album. Oh, all right. Here's our sneaking treasure. Let's get out of here. We have to get through and put the plug back. I see the plug! Hurry! We made it through. All right, everybody, let's squeeze the plug back into place. Push! 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 All funky like, oh yeah! Shut up! It's back in place. Thank the gods of the sea, the plug is back in place.
I can't believe I'm going back empty-handed.
It was that or not come back at all.
Curse the sea honky anyway. Curse its unbelievable whiteness.
We didn't come back completely empty-handed.
What do you mean?
Look, I got a peanut butter fish. Oh, the fish punches.
Put that thing in the airlock. There really should be a limit on how mad a mad scientist can be.
So there's no chance of the sea honky getting through that plug, is there?
Of course not.
No chance whatsoever?
You were there. We put the plug back in place. There's no way the sea honky could get through that plug.
You're sure?
Sure.
Because if the sea honky got through that plug, we'd all be doomed. The entire world would be doomed.
Don't I know it?
Something is apparently very funny. Oh, the funny.
Cry of the Sea Honky was written by Brent Hinks and W. Ralph Walters. Brent Hinks was Dr. Von Martinez, and all other voices were by W. Ralph Walters. The theme song was written and performed by Papa Suede. The end theme was performed by Astrogep Enos. Do the Funky Honky was by the Von Martinez Experience. All other music licensed by Big Fish Audio, Pro Samples, Network Music, or written by W. Ralph Walters. For more Frequency of Fear, visit frequencyoffear.com. For more Frequency Light, look for the link at zombieastronaut.net.
I kinda like Applebee's. They've got the best nachos I've ever tasted. They put some guacamole and some salsa on there. There's like some olives and jalapenos and some chili stuff, and it's like all mixed together very well. It's not like other nachos where they just pile everything up on top of the chips and then you get to the bottom and it's just chips and there's no nacho stuff. Shut up.